Hello and welcome to another day of crafting with me at Naomi's Scrappy DIY Retreat. I hope that you will look in the description below, find the materials, and craft along with me. I have to apologize ahead of time. My videos are a little weird off and on, so sorry about that. So these are the items that you're needing. Again, I will have these items in the description below so that way you can see. Everything we're making can be hung on a tree, but can also be a wall ornament. So go ahead and get your stuff together. I'm going to go ahead and get my stuff ready, and let's go ahead and get started. So you just want to disassemble these 3 picture frames. And again, these are the little picture frames that I guess you can use at for displaying in front of like your number of guests at a wedding. And all I did was I painted the paper that's inside, because if not, you can still see the strips, the black and white strips. And then I just dry brushed all of the black frames with white chalk paint. What I don't show you, I don't think later on, is that I also, when everything was dry, I also put on a matte Mod Podge over top of it, so that way it wouldn't, there I showed you, so that way it wouldn't scratch, and then that way they would be good whenever you hang them on the tree or take them off. That way nothing's going to get scratched or ruined. So once you have all of that done, you can set those to the side. And now we're just going to take our letters that we have right there, and we are just going to make stencils out of these letters from the Dollar Tree. And I don't know if you know it, and I just realized it, but if you take your hand and slip them in between the 2 pieces, it actually opens up. And here I have been cutting and ruining them this entire time, and you can actually separate them. And you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, girl, you know, but hey, we all learn something new sometimes. So this was my new learning moment. So I'm just cutting around the JOY to make joy. And again, you can do this to make peace or happy or merry or whatever you want, but this is what I chose to make for this little craft. So I'm just using these as my stencil, so that way when I go to cut them out, I will know the size that I need. So just watch along. So all I did was I cut out a piece of transfer paper that would fit right underneath my O. I also lined that up with the frame up above, so I would know exactly where that letter was going to go. And then I just used the little stylus tool that came with the transfer paper and just traced around the letter. Now you will see I'm getting ready to use a Sharpie for this, and I think I still like the idea of the Sharpie, but once the whole assembly is finished, I wish now I would have gone over the Sharpie either with some black Waverly ink or even distress the letters, because I did not do that here. And when you see it in the distress picture frame, it looks like it needs a little distressing. And I did not do that to the white paper or to the letters that I did. So just kind of a little hint for you if you make this. Just make sure that you're gonna make it a cohesive look. While it still looks good, it is not the look I was going for, and when you get it all glued together, there's really not much option to go back and fix it. So just a little heads up. So I was just checking for the dryness of the frame, since I did put that Mod Podge over the edge of the frames. The one frame still had a little piece that was still not ready. But what I am doing here, which is hard to see on the screen, is that on the back of these frames, on that very back piece, there's that little kickstand that kicks it out. And so I took my wire cutters, which are flat edge, they're a blunt, not like most of them with a point, and I was able to snip off the back of that piece because it kind of sticks out and hump. Now it does leave a hole, but once you cover it with a ribbon, even the white ribbon that we used, you're not going to see it. So don't be hesitant to cut it out. Again, this was the method I used, and you may be able to use a regular pair of tin snips or wire cutters to do this, but this was what I had in hand and this is what I used. So hopefully whatever you have available will also work for this method as well. And now all I'm doing is getting ready to assemble. So again, you're just going to put everything back together the same way that you took apart the picture frame. So the glass, your letter, the cardboard, and then that black backing piece, and then slipping it into the frame. So the light changed outside, and when it changes and shines through this one window above my door, it is blinding and it covers the area that I'm working in. So there's like an hour or two during the day that this happens. So all I'm doing is I'm attaching the ribbon at the bottom, making sure that I'm definitely hitting that metal frame. You want to hit the bottom metal frame, and you also want to double it over and hit that very top of the top part of your ornament, that frame there. This will ensure that you have a very good solid hold and that it's not going to come apart. So all I'm doing is gluing that piece down on the very tip top, and then I'll fold it over and glue it again. And this is, this is optional, and you can do this however you want. And if you find a different ribbon that you want, this would be really pretty with a red ribbon. Just the white is what I had, and I thought, you know what, that will actually look good. And this white ribbon is actually what I found in the wedding section when I was picking up those pails for the project that I did the other day. Now I'm doing is I'm making a loop for the top just for it to hang on the tree. And then I will go ahead and make a bow for this. And I am not the greatest at making bows, so I'm not really going to explain to you. I just kind of loop things over. And then I had some red and white twine that I used to pinch it all together. And that's what I used to make my bow. And then I just fluffed it up a little bit and I added it to the top of where that loop is. Then I turned that ornament over, which you'll see in a second, and I added a piece of ribbon right where that loop is glued down, just to kind of reinforce that so that it's not going to come off. And again, a quick, easy sign. Again, you can use it as wall hanging, you can put it on the tree, but really cute, really easy, and I hope you like this. Let me know if you made this down in the comments below. So the next ornament we're going to do is also another ornament sign that you can use as a wall hanging, and so I just picked up 3 of the Dollar Tree words: the Noel, the Joy, and the Peace. And I also have a pack of, I think they're 5x7 or 4x6, I can't see it, sorry, of the, yep, my words are gone. You know what I mean, the canvas. Yes, the canvas boards from Dollar Tree, so the pack. So these are the items that you're gonna need. All you do is, I am taking everything apart. I'm taking everything off of the signs. I'm ripping off all of the jute and the picks and all of that, and I'm getting ready to work with a clean surface. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to give the canvas boards kind of like a distressed look. So again, I took a baby wipe and my favorite coffee beans. So far it's my favorite because that's what I have. And I'm just distressing the top of the canvas. And yes, this distressing method, this also works. It makes it look like stain on the top of the canvas. So you can do this as light or as heavy as you want, but this is the finished product of what I did. So first you're going to see me using this method with the paint, and then you're going to see me come through and do a little bit of a dry brush over top of the canvases, just to kind of give it more of a wood look, more of an antique look, I guess is kind of what I want to say. So once all that's done, I don't know, can you tell the difference between with and without the white paint on there to distress it? And once this was done, all I did was I just took some glue, hot glued it down into the middle of that canvas board. So once I have all of the words glued down onto the canvas boards, then I just take those picks that I had originally ripped off and just decide where I wanted to put some things. So on the Noel, I just used the berries and kept the pick as it was, and then put it down on top, which covered up the hole. For the piece, I actually shoved part of a pick into the hole that's on the peace sign. I also added some pine cones to the Noel, and then for the joy, for the peace, I actually did a bow in the buffalo check, and then for joy, I actually shoved a pick down inside the hole after I cut off a lot of the end of the pick. It still kind of stuck out a little bit more than what I wanted to. This is something that you can just decide what looks best. And again, you make it to how it fits you better. The other thing I wish I probably would have done afterwards is added a little bit more distressing to these canvas boards when I was done, but I did not do that. So here you can see I'm attempting to try to make a buffalo check bow, and it's still kind of cute, but it does take me quite a while to make a bow, always. But it turns out pretty cute in the end. And then underneath of that buffalo check bow, I also added a pick under that as well. So this burlap ribbon is actually from the Walmart, and you can get it where the floral section is. It comes in a roll. I love this burlap. It's great. I use this a lot to wrap my wreath forms, but this is what I use to attach all the pieces. And at first it was going okay by doing it on the back, but the problem was because I put the picks on there, they were sticking up at an odd angle. So I got smart, imagine that, I should have done that sooner, and flipped it all over and then did that method. I also removed the paper so I wouldn't glue the paper to the back of it because there are obviously holes in the burlap. So I spaced them, I just eyeballed it. I didn't measure anything, I just spaced them to how it looked the best. And then I cut off the very top of it, leaving an extra piece to gap. Now this is one part that I'm not quite sure I actually like how I did this, but I took an extra part and then I just hot glued it onto the top canvas board so that kind of made a loop at the top. Again, not quite sure why. You can do this differently if you want, and if I could do it over again, I would probably leave that part out. But I kind of also like what I did next. Then I just added some jute twine and I balled it up, or I drew up. I put it through the loop that's at the top and then kind of drew it in to kind of scrunch it. And that was kind of how I finished the top. See, as you can see, I'm gathering it. So I kind of wanted a gathered look, but I don't know if the jute was the best way to do it. And this is where I said my video is a little weird. Like, I don't know what happened, but literally half of my picture is missing and I don't know where it went to. So if you know what happened, maybe if you can tell me what I did wrong, I would love to hear it. But so as you can see, I just made a knot and I tied it and then just cut off the excess jute. And then what I ended up doing, which you're not going to end up seeing, is, but you'll see it in the photo of the finished product, is that I did end up making a tiny X bow for the top part just to cover up that jute. And then I added, that was what I used, that string there was what I used as my jute string. So I love how it's gathered. I just think I may have been able to do it differently. So let me know if that's how you did it or if you did the top of yours differently. I would love to hear it. So there you go. There's the finished product. And I did not show you the jute bow, but I think you can see it in the before and after photos of this. I think when I was hanging up, I decided, oh yeah, you know what? I want something else up there. So anyhow, let me know if you like it with or without the bow. So then for the very last one, we are just going to use these ornaments from the Dollar Tree. I had already painted them because I was going to do something else. So I'd only painted the front of them and I didn't want to go ahead and paint the back of them right now. So I just, and see, here it is again, the camera is just odd, like, and it's also out of focus, so I apologize for that. So this was the Dollar Tree ribbon that I decided to use, and I like it. I think it's cute, but I think maybe like it would be good with any other kind of ribbon. But again, I didn't want to paint the back of this, so I needed a ribbon that was wide enough, and this Dollar Tree ribbon was perfect. And I figured if I added a little bit of red to it in the end, it would look great. So all I did was I hot glued these ornaments down on top of the ribbon. And as you can see, I struggle keeping it where it needs to be, but I just eyeballed all of this. And so I will just let the rest of the video speak for itself. So what I did do was I made a bow for the top of up above the bells, and then I just made a little jute loop and glued that to the back. And I don't know why, but it does show me dry brushing the bells, but it doesn't show me adding the words. So again, not only did my actual shooting of this video not work out right, but somehow I also ended up losing the very last portion of this video. But you can get the idea. I just dry brushed it, and then I just freehanded the words on to the bells the way I wanted them. I don't have a Cricut, so I do a lot of stencils. I do more stencils than freehand because I don't like how my freehand turns out. So I just used some Waverly ink and dry brushed the edges of this actually, and then I changed my mind and decided to do, I think I changed my mind and decided to do more of a brown. But let's see here, what did I do? Let me think. So what I ended up doing was I actually used some of the Waverly ink and some of my coffee bean, mixed it together, dabbed it, and then brushed it on. So I actually mixed two colors, and that's what I did. Then what I did to finish it off after I dry brushed it, I added a little red bow to it, and I also, like I said, I put the words on there. So again, I apologize for the quality of this video. I do not know what happened to both of these videos that I did that I attached together to make this. And so I apologize for that. But I hope that you like this and that you were able to make this along with me. And if you did, I hope that you do some kind of emoji down below just to kind of let me know that you either watch this or participated by making the craft along with me. I always like it when you make crafts along with me. So as you can see, I just added a little red bow to the top of the Peace and Joy. I did not add one to Love because it's already covered up. I probably should have. And then just added a little berry pick with pine to the top of the bow. And that was it. So again, I hope you guys enjoy this and excuse the quality of the video. I also have farm equipment going on, driving past. So it's been quite an interesting morning. So thank you again so much for watching, and if this is your first time here, thank you. I hope that you will consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. That way every time I upload a new video, you will be notified. And if you have been following along, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I hope you have a wonderful, blessed day, and hope to see you again soon.